This is just another little snippet from Joe Rogan. He's talking about a hippie colony, and he's hanging around with a guy that likes to call himself Killer Mike. Let's see what he talks about there and where this leads real quick.
Sure, some of them were troubled, but for a lot of them, they finally had a sense of purpose. They'd just been taken into this place as family.
So they made Utah.
They basically made a town
Like
in Utah.
I've always
This is
respected
right
the more.
there.
I did see part of this movie. Geek at 3 in the morning, like, oh
Crazy.
shit.
Yeah, so this is a story about making a Buddhist colony and stuff, like a hippie colony, like's happened a few times around and stuff and everything. So that leads to a strange conversation, though.
Why is it that white hippie-like people trust brown people with beards so much?
Well, they want to believe in enlightenment and in all the media portrayals of enlightenment and all of, when people talk about mystical experiences they had in India, it's always that part of the world that emphasizes spirituality and
it's all the Middle East and stuff like that. What most Caucasians fail to realize is they were all there at the early times and stuff, and Sumerians and the people and the Aryans that created that. And Gautama Buddha is said to have round, bulging eyes and blue eyes. In fact, you can see all of these statues that have blue eyes that are in their culture there, and it shows you that it definitely had a connection to it, for Gautama Buddha gave them enlightenment. And so there's definitely a connection back there. But people are always searching maybe for spirituality and so on, and we can definitely understand that. And even people that are Christians and everything and got that going on, they search for other esoteric things. It seems like we've lost some of it, and I keep showing videos of what we lost. For it seems like every culture already had similar tales, but it wasn't going to be able to work as one with the way they had them told. As the Greeks have some of it backwards with women and men in places and things like that, and it's just not going to line up. Well, it could have, but it was decided by certain people that it wouldn't through the Dark Ages, and we kind of lost that. And I've been re-enlightening people to the idea of it and what meditation can bring you and stuff like that, but it's not all that in a bag of chips. And I'd like to just mention there are more people of that religion that have turned to Christianity than Christianity have turned to Buddha. But I can understand it well, for I was a kid of the hippie age myself, and I got to see the Beatles go see Maharishi Goji, and the Maharishi Maharani Yoga, whatever. Anyhow, and people have done that a few different times and stuff, and I made a reference to Led Zeppelin did a little trance thing like that too out, but it wasn't the same, and they didn't hang with a guy like that when they went to do the Kashmir stuff, and it was enlightening to them just in itself. Perhaps they didn't have to go as deep. But let's see what else he says.
the idea that the Hindu religion is a more ancient, more complex spiritual religion as opposed to
the Indian yogi figure is the white Jesus figure of white people.
100%.
So for white people who don't know, white Jesus in the black community is a mythical creature that has enormous power, right? It's insane.
No, actually, I'm finding it hard to believe that. I'd like somebody to down in the comments tell me that that's true, that black people actually worship a Caucasian god, and that they're still saying that it's a Caucasian god of the Bible, because the Bible doesn't mention black people as part of it, just like it doesn't mention Eskimos and so on. But I get this all the time where they jump on my threads and they tell me it's not even my Bible, it's theirs, and it's all about them and stuff. So you get this weird thing going on. But I haven't snuck into a black church lately, do they? And the black church tell you that he's white Jesus and the white God and the Christians, and it's all their religion that you're trying to adopt now, just like you would if you went to China and started doing Shinto or something like that? Or is it in reality where blacks have tried to twist it into being their religion out of jealousy and an inferiority complex, and now they blaspheme the image of God and lie and bear false witness and all kinds of things? Which one is it? And let's go on.
Same for anyone to believe in a deity that doesn't look like them, right? So he tells you it's strange
for anyone to believe in a deity that does not look like them. And of course, the ancient Greeks said long ago that each culture will have deities that look more like themselves. And in fact, if animals had gods, they would look like the animals. And, I've always used that as like, well, chimera. Hey, a chimera, is that like a god where it's the god of the goats and the thing? And ha ha ha. No, it has to do with zodiacs and everything. So you can understand blacks wanting to have one that looks in their image, but they did voodoo and stuff like that. Oh, and it ruins it, and it makes it to where they have to choose another person's religion. And it's odd to me that they choose the Jewish slave masters' religion, who we definitely know they weren't part of, and say that they were. And they try to claim Hamites, which is a division of the Caucasian race and everything. These people also have a mental problem going on, where the large portion of them try to claim Egypt as their heritage and not West African primitives who didn't know Egypt existed. They also say they were the Moors and so on. In fact, just recently I did one off Joe Rogan's show here with somebody else who called himself Hotep Jesus. Yeah, like this guy calls himself Killer Mike, and he doesn't really look like a killer individual. He looks like somebody that's got a lot of intelligence. He looks like Burl Ives or somebody that wants to tell you a story and so on like that. And I hear he's like a rapper, and they like him because he's got that extra edge of intelligence along with it. But I don't know anything about Killer Mike. But it is disgusting that black people have taken to pulling all kinds of names. Of course, if you have a Caucasian name given to you a long time ago, that might lend you to do something like that. But then you pick Hotep Jesus. And if that isn't the most disgusting thing that you could possibly have done, for you don't have anything to do with Hotep or Jesus. Let's see what he says here. It's strange that blacks choose a white person, but he apparently wants us to believe that black people don't try to make a black Jesus and a black Santa Claus. Let's continue.
In the black community, we're just in love with Renaissance paintings, and Jesus is white as fuck. All right, so we have the same infatuation that your weird hippie aunt has with Indian men with long beards and their mysticism. We have that with white Jesus. So that you've just helped me understand.
Wow.
Because I've always wondered, like, what the fuck is it up with white people and East Indian people? Like, because Vikram, who directed.
So he let you know there that he thought before, what's up with white people trying to find spirituality in weird places? But it's probably not that weird. But he all of a sudden slapped it to himself that black people, oh, no wonder. And so does he expose the fact that they do try to have a black version of it and everything? And, it makes sense that they would try to, but then not be able to. Because it makes sense that if they were to try to, whenever in the Bible it says not to covet, bear false witness, and blaspheme the image of God, then you would be doing that on purpose right at the moment you were trying to do it. And it would be a lie, and you would be trying to steal. So all we've got left is to take half of Mike's name of Killer, and let's see, we broke all of them. We're the holiest people, we're holy. No, not really at all. But the reason I did this one is just to expose the fact, strangely enough, this black guy has that idea that, yeah, the Bible and that's all Caucasian stuff. I wonder if you were to just sit him aside and say, were y'all recently slaves? He would say, yeah, we were slaves. Were y'all primitives and illiterates and stuff for that? And he goes, yeah, pretty much. Wow, can I shake your hand? Okay, that's fantastic. That's okay. Why am I shaking your hand? I just want to meet one of you that actually is woke. And he'd probably giggle his ass off. Then I'd have the conversation with him, and I would try not to be derogatory like I am towards them whenever they're trying to say, "Was king if you don't know nothing." Of course, he would be more receptive, and then we would get on to probably what can help it out and what's really not helping it and stuff. And maybe you could get somewhere, but you sure as hell ain't getting nowhere with the way we're going at it today.
Trigger Warning also has a documentary where he creates a fake religion and convinces, white middle class people to follow.
That is a crazy.
That's a crazy thing where there's been things like that, where like that oh God, what was it, Heaven's Gate, and he got all those weird people and stuff. And right now, there's so much SJW kids going around, and they're just real gullible and stuff. And I sure hope no one ever takes advantage of them and tries to get them to believe some awkward, foolish stuff like Jim Jones, Guyana Problem, or anything along that line, and drink the Kool-Aid. For we're way past that point, and we keep looking back and we say we're past stuff, but then people and things keep sucking it back into a further date. Now we're spaceman and we're trying to get to Star Trek, and something's got its claws in us and it needs to stop. What would it be like if black people would quit hating Whitey Cracker for having heralded mankind and them jealously hating that fact? What would happen if they just quit that and they were to say that, you know, no matter what happened with slavery, everybody was doing slavery, so it's not unique. So we isn't special because of that, of course. In fact, nobody wants to harp on that as being anything. We're going to drop that, and no, we weren't the primitive, the pyramid builders. We were primitives and weren't the Moors or anything else. And it's amazing what we can do, though. Look at me now. And try not to show out. Just look at me now, and it's amazing what you can do. And then go, oh, hold on a minute. So we need to drop this BS because this is ruining America and making ghettos and stuff. Yeah, oh, so let's try to drop this BS. In fact, let's ask Whitey to help us, and let's openly show that we know we're not the biblical people, and we're not going to lie and yammer and cause racism by our own hands, making up our own racism. We're going to actually try to do something for the world for a change. Or go back to Africa. It's the year of return. Yeah, the year of return. All these countries have set it up so blacks can come back, and they've made things in the airport real cool for you to come back, and they'll throw a lei around your neck and everything, and welcome back. You can, you know, and it's not a visiting thing. You're supposed to go back to what you would have had if you never had came over to America. And well, it wouldn't be what you had. That would have been primitives and stuff. It's already tainted now. You'd be westernized over there, and you would have, you know, something that you could be proud of, where it wouldn't be like, well, under Whitey we did something, you know. It would be like, well, after we got domesticated by Whitey, we finally did something over here and made Wakanda and stuff. But I don't know, it was just strange that he actually mentioned that black people love Whyte Jesus. Whenever I'm finding in my videos, they want to make sure they let you know that, oh, no, he's not. And in fact, they try to say that he's not Whyte Jesus, that there are ethnics there that have some admix. So Jesus wasn't white, and so those are Caucasians too. They have admix now. They didn't before. His description is correct. His hair is woolly. No, it says his head and his hair were white, comma, like wool. White like wool. Not like texture. Try to get your lie straight. His head was white. Oh, his feet were black. No, he walked in the dirt. No, it says brass in a furnace. If you heat up brass in a furnace, it becomes white hot. Please stop. Please stop. You're trying to say, oh, your God was a Negro. How pathetic. Please stop.